I want to try and do my video intro how I do it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl V-Man. How are you doing? Okay, you see, this is real. I don't fake it. So we're here. I'm tempted to say, Esther said, babe, how many hours did it take you to go dress up? Stop it. Stop it. I woke up like this, honestly. I genuinely woke up like this. See, my mother gave birth to a fine child. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I genuinely woke up like this. But yeah, it took a whole village to get us ready here. So we're here today basically to talk about the journey from Lagos. Elizabeth Addison here is our immigration expert. I have had to navigate a career here in the United Kingdom in the last over a decade. Don't guess my age, please. And I live here in London, and see, I've started changing accents. Hey, when I call London, the way my accent changes, even me, I'm like, maybe I calm down. I can't calm down. They did not born you here. Okay, so I've navigated a career in HR here in the UK, and I've managed people's careers. I am a trained career coach. So I thought to put a question out on Instagram. So if you're joining me for Instagram, thank you for joining. Let me know in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. But now we're just going to dive into all things career and immigration, moving from Lagos to London. And let me just do a shout out to all the comments that we've gotten so far. So Esther said, what have I missed? You haven't missed much. Thank you for coming. How many hours did it take me to dress up? Girl, I woke up like this. Andy, my only sister and family. I'm here just for the blue top. Auntie, please, see, we cannot share this one. I'm really sorry. I need to return it to the shop after this YouTube live. So I'm sorry about that. Mommy's vlog, Jennifer, thank you so much. Hello, host. Yes. So we dive into it, but I think it makes sense that we let Liz introduce herself. So Liz, over to you. Tell us who you are and why immigration is important to you and why you're interested about today's life.
Thank you very much, Vivian. Hello, everybody, and welcome to VMAT channel. And thank God we're having this finally, because this has been prepping for over 2 years now. Every time Viv is like, Liz, we need to do this. I'm like, sis, when? But finally we're here now. My name is Elizabeth Addison, and I am a business analyst by profession, but then I came from a legal background. So I have worked in an immigration law firm for a little while. So that's where my passion for immigration stemmed. I went to law school, did an elective in immigration law, got refused a visa by the Home Office and took them up and appealed for that decision by myself, and I won.
Wow.
Yep. So that's how come I started learning everything immigration. I delved in a little bit more. I worked in an immigration law firm, and I actually now trying to train to become a licensed immigration advisor. So I will put a disclaimer here today. Anything you hear here, it's not from a licensed immigration advisor. I would advise that you would ask the licensed immigration advisor if you go there. This is just my research, the way I've navigated my way through the immigration system and what I've learned from academics, and that's what I'm sharing. Most of the things that you will hear from me today are all online. If you go to gov.uk, if you speak to any immigration advisor, most immigration stuff in the UK is very public and you can find them out. So if you have anything that you don't understand, anything you need clarity on, I'm here for you for that. So Vivian, we can get into it.
Great. No, thank you so much, Liz. So no, that's really interesting to hear that you fought the Home Office by yourself.
Oh yeah, we had to go down that road though.
Really?
Oh, we had to.
And the outcome. So tell me about what you think you did differently, because I've done that. I have been to the Home Office. I had someone that I invited, a family member whose visa was declined. And I literally matched myself to the court. I picked the court date and they were expecting an immigration lawyer to accompany me. And I'm like, this is a straightforward case. I don't understand why I need an immigration lawyer. And by the time I showed up, and I think the judge in the end said, this looks really silly. I think this is a mistake on our part. We're sorry. And the visa was granted. So what was your story?
Basically, similar thing. So I applied for, I was just renewing my student visa. At the time, I was in law school studying immigration law. So I kind of knew the basics. And then they refused me on technicality. So I realized that they said to me, the funds in my account did not match what the Home Office was looking for. But that wasn't true because I had my two accounts. You know, when you have a current account and a savings account,
yeah.
So I must have transferred, like, you know, money from my savings account into my current account. So the Home Office said, no, you don't have enough money. So I went to the court. I said to the judge, no, there was no way in the immigration rules that said that you can have accounts, you know, in one account, as long as the account is in my name, Elizabeth Addison, and at the same address, it should be associated with me. So I don't see why the Home Office is saying, you know, they refused the visa. Basically, I entered the courtroom for 5 minutes. They just told them that they should get up their asses and go. They wasted my time. I had an exam the following day. The judge asked them to pay me money back. I got a cool £2,000 from that for wasting my time, and they paid my court fees.
Let's drink to that. Yeah. So that takes a lot of balls.
Yeah.
That took a lot of balls, but well done to you for doing that. And I think I wanted to ask that question just to break it down, that sometimes even the law or the people in charge can also make mistakes.
Yes, they do all the time. And with Home Office, most of the time, they falter on technicality. So if you're somebody who knows about immigration law, you can pick them up very quickly. You can, you know, put them forward and say, look, no, this is not how it works. I literally just applied for a settlement in this country, and there was a gap in my stay for the 10-year route. Mm-hmm. So I spoke to an immigration advisor, and then she said, oh, you know, Elizabeth, you can't do that. I said, no, Elizabeth can do that. So I spoke to her and I said, you know what, I can do this by myself, but I've got the kids and everything, so I don't have the time. So I sat down with this lady, told her exactly what to do. And I made her, you know, apply for the visa, and I helped her write the statements and everything. And then she sent it through. And I did get the settlement. And she said, Elizabeth, I've never seen anything like that. I said, no, sometimes you need to push the Home Office a little bit. If you have any grounds that can say, okay, you know, you can't refuse me in any way, you need to put it forward. So I really pushed the Home Office. I put it all down, all out and all down.
Okay, so that's very useful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Elizabeth. So we have a few questions. One question in front of me, I'm going to read it out. So guys, see me looking at my phones because I've got the questions here. It says, I was told I had to change career to a career in healthcare if I want to relocate to the UK. Now, I'm very aware that there's this whole buzz. And Liz, when I spoke to you the other day, you were like, the door is open if you're anything linked to healthcare. So tell us what you know. Because I also watched my YouTube buddy, Ideva TV, Daily, shout out to her. She's done a series of videos on moving to the UK under healthcare. The barrier to entry is dropped.
Yep.
So tell us what you know about career in healthcare and how people can come into the UK.
Yeah, so healthcare is one of the biggest problems UK is having at the moment. They need the doctors, they need the care workers, they need the nurses, dental nurses, you know, everything to do with healthcare. So now there's a healthcare visa that they've made available to people. So basically, it's a fast track visa, and then it allows anyone in healthcare to apply for the visa, provided you meet the requirements, and then you're granted a visa to work in the country.
Okay.
It's not a high threshold as long as you have a degree. I think most of the issues that people have is the sign off from the government, because sometimes, or most times they need the sign off from, where you had qualified before as a healthcare professional. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's where people fall. And then you obviously need your English language. So if you're not from one of the countries that the Home Office have listed out that they don't need the English language, you need to write an English language exam.
Okay.
So
So if we think about Nigeria as an example, because most of my audience are coming from Nigeria, even though they might be in different other locations, what is our position in terms of English language? Because English is a first language in Nigeria, and I did a master's degree here in the UK, and I'm guessing that that's why I didn't have to do English tests all through the applications I had to do to get my citizenship. Excuse me. So for someone coming from Nigeria and isn't coming here to study, what are they meant to do?
So
with the relation to English?
For Nigeria, I mean, there's a link where you can put your and maybe I'll send it to you, Vivian, then you can post it in the group. There's a link where you can post your degree or send your degree certificate, and they can do like a transfer or some sort of equal match to see if it's to, like, say a university degree that's taught in English and they accept it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to do any English exam. The most common one is the IELTS. So a lot of people write the IELTS, English as a second language or something that is called. So a lot of people write IELTS or ESOL. So once you write those exams and you pass, you should be able to come in as a B1, which is, the lower threshold for coming into the country.
Yeah.
So you definitely need an English exam coming from anywhere in Africa, because there's not an African country in the list, of it's okay to come without English.
Mm-hmm.
Write an IELTS exam or an ESOL exam to come in from Nigeria.
Okay, so because you're not coming here to study, you're coming here to work, you would need to write an English exam.
Yeah, even to come here to study, you might have to write the IELTS exam now.
Really? I wonder whether that's changed, because if I think about my time, I had a first degree in Nigeria, and of course I had to submit my transcript, and I don't know whether that's what they used to compare, because every time I did an application, once I was here, I got the whatever percentage mark was for the English test, I got it.
Yeah, so I think the rules have changed, a bit, because when I came here as well, I didn't have to write any of these English exams or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But after a while, they realized maybe a lot of people were coming in without English language. So they're not very conversant. And sometimes at the airport, I've sat at the airport and I've seen a lot of things, when common things like, where are you coming from? They're staring at the immigration officer like, what are you talking about? So, so I think some things had to change. And then that's why they introduced, the IELTS. So even as students, some places would require that you do the IELTS exam.
Okay, thank you. That's useful. I'm going to go to the next question. Can your mom's sister fight for citizenship for her daughter's sister? So I'm guessing, can I fight for a citizenship for my niece? Can I apply? I don't like the word fight. It's not a fight.
Yeah.
Can I apply for citizenship for my niece? I'm guessing that's my interpretation of the question. If I'm British, can I get citizenship for my niece?
So naturally, you wouldn't be able to. There are two. The only way I can think that would happen is if the auntie is the sole guardian of the niece. It's either the auntie, or two ways. The auntie can be the sole guardian of the niece. So the auntie looks after the niece, pays her school fees, pays her rent, accommodation, and she's doing that because maybe the sister is not alive or the sister is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
So if she can show sole guardianship, saying that I send her money every time, I look after her, I pay her fees directly, I pay, whoever is looking after her, the nanny or whatever, and I can't do it again. So I want my niece here. So she has absolutely nobody there looking
Oh.
after them. The only other thing I can think about is through adoption.
Okay.
So if she can adopt her niece officially, she'll be able to bring it, because now she's no longer a niece but a daughter to her through adoption.
Is there an age with regards to adoption? Because I've heard this thing where they say if the child is under 16 or a certain age, you can easily adopt them. Can you adopt anyone over 18? What's the age limit?
Yeah, so I think the age, the cutoff age for this, adoption and bringing somebody into the country is 18, before their 18th birthday, because at that point in the UK you are an adult.
Right.
So it's easier to do it before their 18th birthday, but anything after 18 becomes a bit technical. You need to try and point out the reasons why it is imperative that the child comes here.
Okay, that's fine. I just remember. Bear with me 1 second. I just realized that I forgot to rename myself. We're both Liz. How is that even possible on Zoom? I knew I was meant to do that, but I forgot. So bear with me. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so to adopt under age 16, because UK adult age is 16, 16 or 18. 18, that makes sense. But I think something that you shared that I didn't know about was clearly about the fact that if it's not an adoption and you want to bring the person here and you have a record of actually looking after them, paying their fees. So it's all about those records. And is this record still 6 months?
No, so things like that, sometimes it's to their discretion. They can ask you for, a number of years. They can say for 5 years, you need to show me this. You need to you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that this is what you do.
That you've been paying their fees, looking after them. Yeah. You're basically their sole provider. And because they're under 18, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to bring them here because I'm paying for them anyway.
Yeah. So that's the only other way that you can, go through. It's not a back door, but, use it.
It's not a back door as well, because I know a lot of Nigerians, I'm using Nigeria as an example because I'm a Nigerian, who are solely responsible for people back in Nigeria. But I don't know if they are aware that if you have a record of actually looking after this person, you can use that to apply.
Sorry, Vivian, you froze for a minute, a second.
Okay, so I said what you've just said to me, I haven't heard that before, that because I know a lot of people that are responsible for people back in Nigeria who they pay their fees, they make sure they have a guardian, they almost go to Nigeria almost every year, or if not twice a year, to make sure that they're looking after this person. I didn't realize that as long as you keep a good record of you actually being financially and everywhere else responsible for this person and they're under 18, you can just apply to bring them to the UK.
Yeah. I mean, it would take some doing from the Home Office, but once you're able to tell them, look, I can't do this, and this person is more or less like my child, I'm doing this, I don't want to adopt them. And I know the Home Office will push you down the adopt. Why don't you adopt them? But I don't want to, So it's a catch-22 with that one. Unlike adoption can be, straightforward. It can be done, bring my child here and it's fine. But this one of a sole provider can be, a bit tasky. Not a lot of people go through with it because you can feel so many hurdles.
Yeah, you have to prove a lot and for a reasonably long time. Okay, so we've just answered question number 2. And this question was, can my mom's sister bring her sister's daughter, which is, can I bring my niece into the UK? And Liz is just giving us the tea on that. Let me see who else is joined. Callers of Boma. Okay, I need to share this. I absolutely need to share this. So when I wish Boma was on to actually share this story herself, but I'll paraphrase, and Boma, type in the comment section if I missed anything. So when I started doing YouTube Live back in 2020, around the time that you joined, Liz, and one of them, we talked a lot about immigration and career and all of that, Boma was in the process or considering moving to the UK. Right. I think it was her or somebody else, I cannot remember off the top of my head now, that said, okay, Viv, I've been watching this because I just thought I was putting it out there and sharing my story. I beg, what's new? It's my story, so anybody can have it. I didn't know there was this group of people who were putting things into practice. As we speak, Boma is in the abroad.
Hello, Boma.
She's studying.
Well done.
She is studying here. She's even here with her kids. The day I watched her video, because she's a YouTuber as well, the day I watched her video and saw her location change, I was like, this thing is real.
Wow. That's the thing.
So, Boma, welcome. Ask all your questions. So, Esther said, I have plenty of questions. Ask away. So, let me take questions that I sent you a question today, Liz. I'm going to pick up on that one. So, okay, the person that sent the question just messaged me to say there's 10 people watching. Okay, I better arrange myself. It's my brush. No, I'm okay. It's my clothes here. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, question, and the person that asked this question, you are here. More questions coming. Oh yeah, I'll be bringing them. So the question is about the new scale-up visa, which will be launched sometime in September this year, in springtime. What is that about, Liz?
Okay, so with this, it's still a bit sketchy. So
okay,
I just had to read about it a little bit more because it's still all over the place. It's home office, things will change before the time. It's supposed to be available to people on the 22nd of August.
Okay.
About 2022. So basically what it is it's some sort of a skilled visa that like what we have now. But the only difference with this one is it's for companies who are like their scale-up growth is quite rapid. So they would need to employ more foreign skilled workers to come and help them because we have them here. So basically, this is a visa helping those kind of people in such organizations. So
what industry? Is there a specific industry that this scale-up visa applies to, or is it any job?
I think they're going to be specific industry because, let me, I'm going to read out something. Most of the people who are eligible, the criteria for them will probably people who do a lot of IT work, fintech, IT.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so it's the same way they've brought up this healthcare and health and care visa. Basically, this is for people who do IT, fintech, those kind of financial institutions. So the criteria that you need is for you to be able to sponsor an overseas worker, you need to have 3 years annual average revenue, employment growth of 20% within those.
That's for the employer.
That's for the employer, yeah. And then at the start of the 3-year period, business must have had at least 10 employees. So you think for a criteria like this, you wouldn't find it in maybe sales or anything like it has to be fintech, all these startup fintechs, IT companies, maybe HR as well, maybe.
If the purpose of this is shortage of skill, is there shortage of skill in HR? I don't know.
I feel like maybe I don't know. Even now, small scale or startups are considering more HR people.
Okay.
So it's giving them some sort of shortage. Because now I don't know if you realize a lot of people are doing HR.
Yeah. Oh, I've been getting questions from a lot of people, both in my DM, people in my network. I say, tell me more about HR. I'm like, since when HR started the rain, I beg.
Because there's this gap now where everybody needs,
that's true.
Personnel in their company, whether startup or not. So that's where the gap is. So I feel like HR will be on the shortest list very soon.
Okay. So you guys all want to hire me. You all want to lock me in a room. I can't even tell you how many years of HR experience. You just want to lock me in the room and take everything I know. Because I feel like HR, you need experience. The basics can be learned. as long as you're smart. And I think everybody's smart. Okay, let's keep running through the questions because I have 2 more questions here and questions are coming in the chat. So, okay, let me try and run through the questions.
And Vivian, let me say one more thing. You know, with this scale-up visa, unlike the other skilled workers, you don't need a sponsor license to do it, and it's fast track. So the employer doesn't need a sponsor license for you to come into the country. As long as they meet those 3 criteria that I mentioned earlier, they can employ people to come in.
So they need 3 years of operating, 20% increase on revenue or growth in projection. Is it projection or actual increase?
Actual growth, 20% actual growth. And
okay. And then they need at least 10 employees.
Yeah, at the start of the startup. So that's apparently there are 34,000 businesses that will fit the criteria.
I was gonna say that's easily done.
Yeah. So, well, now I think it will boil down to which industry they're going to open this to, but more likely it's going to be IT, fintech.
Can I give an advice here? Let me just say this to everyone who's watching. If you want to relocate, there's 2 things here. Do you want to build a career or do you want to just leave Nigeria? Those are 2 different, your mind is thinking 2 different things. If you want to build a career, then find a company that would hire you, that you can see your growth, or at least you can use them as a stepping stone. After you've been here for a while, you understand the culture, you're settling in, you can then move on to the next. That's one. If you don't want to build a career, you just want to leave Nigeria, I would say, Liz, there's a bravo in the comment section for you. The other part is, if your purpose for leaving is not career, you just want to leave, but go and train anyway. If it is mechanics that is hiring, go and train to be a mechanic.
Yeah.
People are doing 2 weeks and 3 weeks courses and becoming Scrum Masters. People are learning project management under a month. Go and learn whatever there is, wherever the opportunities are high. If that's agile, go and learn it. If that's Scrum Master, go and learn it. If that's software testing, go and learn it. And once you've learned it, now go and find the employer.
Yeah.
That's because you just want to leave Nigeria. You cannot be saying, okay, I want to leave Nigeria, but I want to leave Nigeria as a business analyst. Okay. That's a terrible example, but imagine the UK is not looking for business analysts. You will be there. Whereas if everybody is looking for a healthcare worker or everybody's looking for a Scrum Master and you want to leave Nigeria, you just go and train. You find the minimum level to enter, because I know that most people that live in Nigeria already have a degree of some sort, whether that's HND, OND, or first degree, which means once you get in, you can start. So I don't want us to have this barrier of, I have to be a type of person, or I have to be a type of career, or I have to have it together. Pick your struggle. Is it career you want to build? And if you want to build a career, remember that companies are also hiring internationally and everybody's working remotely most times these days. So you could work for a company in Egypt and be based in Nigeria. For the social enterprise that we founded, Incredible Everyday Woman, which the team is all over the world. And we're chatting to firms in Singapore and hiring people from Japan or wherever. And that's because it's wherever the skill is. But we're registered in the UK. So I just wanted to put that out there for you to say, what is the reason? So maybe tell us in the comment section, do you just want to relocate and that's fine? Or do you want to build a career? Because that will help us sort of narrow the questions. Yeah. So whilst we're getting that bravo for you, Liz, let me go back to the next question. Can applicants outside the UK also apply for jobs in these categories, or will it be strictly for those already in the UK?
No, so this is for people outside of the UK. So as long as you can meet thresholds. So now I think if you want to come here as a skilled worker, there's so many different categories now. There is the main skilled worker, the tier 2 group. And then
that has been there since I was born.
Yeah, and that in that tier 2 group, there's already a shortage list in that tier 2 group. So you can have the medical practitioners, you can have the psychologists, the pharmacists, the civil engineers, you have all these software engineers, you have all of them already on the shortage list, so they're there. And you will realize that when the scale-up visa comes, most of those like things like software engineers, maybe civil engineers, maybe will move to the scale-up visa quite quickly. Yeah, and then there's the healthcare route as well, where you can apply to be even, care worker. Here, nobody in the UK, nobody wants to be a care worker, but care worker is now the thing that's bringing a lot of people in the UK.
I agree. That's what I mean by you need to, because if you just want to relocate because you want to move, being a care worker, this is why I love the UK. And I was chatting about this to a friend the other day. And you know what they said to me? They said the UK is a place where if you are a street sweeper or you're a bus driver or you work in the shelf and the counter, you'll be able to have a life.
Yeah.
It works that way. So if you feel like you want to move because you want the immigration, you just want to leave Nigeria, I don't see why working. Some people are very passionate about looking after people. That's different. That's a career for them. But if you are looking at options, nothing stops that from being your interim to get you to where you want to go. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, right now, a lot of care homes are looking for people. If you want a quick route into the UK,
yeah,
you have, and I know a lot of Nigerians come from some sort of a science background, some medical background or something.
Yeah.
Can get in very quickly. I actually have someone who spoke to me earlier who is looking, and they've got a sponsor license to, help get people to come into the country. And
what
with me that
what
if you have people who qualify, who have a degree, if I can send the email to them, and then
let me just stop you there, Liz. Let me just stop you there, because we have a comment we have a comment here from Esther. So Esther said, I have a question. I have a certificate in community health. I have 8 years of experience, both locally and internationally in Dubai, but Nigeria and Dubai. Yet I'm getting unfortunate messages from a lot of care homes. So if you say you have somebody who has the license and is looking for people, Esther might just be in the UK next summer, or sorry, not next. Yeah, summer is in a few months.
You can just DM me on Instagram or something. I will just send the link to her.
Okay, Esther. You said you came here to find your employer. You might have found one. I don't know. Don't quote me.
Yeah, the thing is, you have to work with them for 3 years before you go. But one thing I know, because I know somebody, and I have a friend who works there, and she's progressed steadily. She managed to buy a car with a company. It's a great company. It's a great company to work for, but you just need to be with them for 3 years. I think that's the only thing. But apart from that, absolutely amazing. They are looking for people.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Liz, because this is now, first of all, this is the highlight. I want you people to clap in the comment section. Liz has a connection. If you're looking for healthcare work, you need to stay with them for 3 years. I mean, we all need to start from somewhere. And Esther, according to her comments, actually wants to be in healthcare. So if they're a good company and she can progress, I don't see why not. Yeah. So Esther, please jump on my Instagram. Liz's handle is tagged on there. Or Liz, if you want to type it in, please just jump on there and send Liz a DM, and she'll send you the link, please. Because our second question is, my CV updated already. Now, the latest I've heard from a recruiter is that because Nigeria is on WHO, oh God, the H factor, I'm not Yoruba now. Nigeria is on the WHO red list. Now, my question is, how do I jackba like this? Is there another employer you can connect me? Esther, God is with you. We have answered your question. Liz has a contact. Reach out to Liz, send her a DM, she'll connect you with the employer. And I hope that you get it, because we need to do VMAT farm from London to Lagos gathering, because Boma is already here and Boma is studying HR too. So she's in the future career. You know, this career thing. I remember when I started HR. Let me tell you people, let me tell you my painful story. When I studied HR, it's not now that everybody's saying HR. Do you know what they used to call me? Their HR thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that thing you're doing again? It's almost like, imagine if somebody was a social media influencer 10 years ago. You know how they would refer to them? That's how I was referred to that HR thing, and I'm like, God, God when? God when? Now. Everybody's like, so Vivian HR, Vivian HR. So follow. See, now it's funny because people that know me and know my journey, when they see anybody who wants to follow their dream that is not looking like the natural way that everyone is going, they're like, go and talk to Vivian. I say, so I've now become the cornerstone.
Yeah, speak.
This life, there's God. There is God. So another question we have, let me just look through the questions. Guys, keep your questions coming. It's keeping this conversation interesting. We might have found an employer for Esther. She's going to chat to Liz. Vima, looking beautiful as usual. I love the V shirt. Oh, and everything. Thank you. Liz has already hyped me about my soft life corner. That's what she called it. She says the softness of life behind it that she loves. I thought that was funny because the way he raved about this corner that day, I'm like, I didn't know people noticed. So I just wanted somewhere that reminds me to sit
noticing what's going on behind the hair and the blue shirt.
Is this the point where I stand up and dance? Oh, thank you. No, I really appreciate that. Okay, so I can see a lot of dancing in the comment section. Dancing with Esther. Esther, get on it. Boma, it might be worth you sharing it. It might be worth you sharing one or two lessons that you've learned so far since you moved to the UK. It'd be good to get your perspective as well. And I think I saw a question from Boma, which I missed. So let me find that question. There was a question from Boma. Aha. So Boma's question is to you, Liz. If I have a British citizenship and I'm solely responsible for my mom, can I apply for her to be a British citizen too? There's two sides to that question. Where is your mother?
Yeah.
Is she in the abroad or is she in Nigeria? So maybe answer it in two parts.
You know what? I think whether Nigeria or, anywhere else, well, apart from the EU, even with the EU, they've practically joined everybody else now.
Because we have now Brexited.
Yeah. So they've practically joined everybody else, even though they might have like a little bit easy, like an easier entry, so to speak, than people. The only reason why they'll, be strict or something is just to teach them a lesson, probably. But joined everybody else. To bring your mom in, it is possible, but the wahala with home office is much. Basically, you have to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that you are the sole carer for your mom. And that, like, there's nobody there. She has no life in Nigeria. When she says that, they're not looking after her, she's getting sick, or, there's nobody to care for her in her old age, you literally have to explain why it's unreasonable for them to, refuse her joining you. So they will delve down, so who was looking after her when you were not there? Does any family there? What about grandkids? If there's anybody at all that can be associated with your mom, that's done. Everybody, so she just literally needs to be living in a bubble in Nigeria for you to bring her here.
Ooh, that sounds tough.
Yeah.
The proving beyond reasonable doubt sounds tough, but I guess it's not impossible. And we don't know the full details of Boma's situation. She may well be living in a bubble.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it can be done. Now, I've worked on cases where people have brought their parents in, so I know it can be done. But more often than not, they get refused. I know somebody who has been sick. There was this case that I had, that the lady was very sick. She had cancer, and then they didn't have one of the rare ones. They didn't have the facilities in Nigeria, and Home Office literally said no. Even after 2 appeals, they still said no, until they had a judicial review where they said, it's not possible. And then the lady died soon after. Yeah, soon after. There are so many cases. There's somebody, you know, people have these conceptions that, oh, when you have when you have kids, then you can stay in the UK, but it's not straightforward like that. There are people, I've had a client that had kids here and then was sent back to Jamaica, even though we had argued that, when he goes to Jamaica, he's not going to make it out of the airport. He was literally in a gang. He decided to start a new life, all of that. The
Yeah.
Home Office said no. We literally took the guy to deported the guy back to Jamaica, and then the next day they called us that he was shot outside the airport. So now the family had sued the Home Office. So there are so many
Oh,
cases. There's so many cases that are there that you feel like this one you've pushed and it should work, but sometimes it just doesn't happen that way.
that is just unfair. That is, oh my goodness, that is just unfair. That is, I can't even, yeah, I don't even know what to say. Yeah. That how do you justify that? And I guess the situation is that the Home Office or the judge is the custodian of the law and they're trying to do right by the country. Some
Yeah.
people have used and abused it. I totally get it, but Jesus, okay. So the last question I have here, guys, if you don't ask us questions, we might say goodbye soon, but we don't know. But wait, the last question I have here is, so what is, then I think you touched on this when we started, when you talked about, when you were referring to the healthcare visa, and you said the healthcare is one of the many ways, right? So the question is, what is the easiest route? Easiest might not be the right one, but I'll ask the question. What is the easiest visa route to apply for someone who wants to come back to the UK? They've been here before, they've studied. After the study ended, it couldn't be extended, so they left. Who wants to come back to the UK but not wanting to study? What are the options?
The easier route, I would say, probably healthcare.
I'm thinking that too.
But then saying that, I'm trying to remember what this rule is. So there's a rule that the Home Office has that
Yeah.
it's like certain number of years that you have gone back after studying that you can't come back.
Oh.
So there's this clause that they have. I'm trying to remember what it is. I wrote it down somewhere. See if I can find it. But yeah, there is something. I wrote it down somewhere. So I think if you have studied and
Yeah.
I mean it depends. See, it depends on how long they've gone back. But say you just studied. Now we have the what do you call it, post-study visa. So
Yeah.
but if you were not able to do that, you can't do a post-study visa from Nigeria once you've left. It's going to be very difficult for you to do that.
Isn't that what the Home Office has done deliberately so people don't come back?
Yeah.
That was my thinking.
Yeah. So that's what so if you finish studying, you have to, or you might as well just apply for study visa here. When you expire, so you get opportunity to do that. But once you go back, there's always this there's a blocker that you have to stay out for a while before you can apply to come back in again.
And then the same blocker has a clause that says when you have stayed for a while, you can't come back.
No. So what it says is, I think you need to stay out for 2 years. I think for 2 years, and after 2 years, you should be able to, come back into the country. But before that,
you can't come back. Okay, so I think this person is definitely been out for longer than 2 years. So what are the options? What visa options are there for them?
So you can have the healthcare visa, which is the easiest option.
Yeah.
You can have any sort of highly skilled work in the shortage list. So you can have, I think IT. I would just go with IT.
Okay.
Software developer, business analyst, technical business analyst.
Yeah.
What do you call them again now? program managers, product owners, all of these are easy routes to get into the country. With the healthcare, obviously, you need to have a degree in health, in some sort of science or healthcare background. With the IT stuff as well, you just need to be competent in some sort of software language or IT, so business analysis or program manager, product owner, for you to be able to. I mean, a lot of people are hiring outside these days, so there are companies that are hiring people like Facebook, Amazon, all the big companies that you can think of, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all of them hiring, IT professionals. So that's also another way to get in. So the two ways I think are quick to get in is IT and then the healthcare.
Okay, so there you have it. If you want to come to this part of the abroad, IT and healthcare. So I get this question a lot, and I'm going to address it. And it's with regards to, I don't have experience in X. So sorry, Ejura, I've just seen your point. Ejura said UX designs as well. Yes, it's all within technology industry. So I think you can just go do a Google search of top jobs in technology industry in the UK, and you just see a lot of them. And then you can look at entry requirements and training, and then come back on YouTube and then look on YouTube to say UX designer starter job. There must be somebody who's talking about it. Do that research, and if it tickles your fancy, go into it. So I would say, again, I mentioned earlier on, there's two ways you can decide to move from Nigeria. You can either choose you want a career path, in which case you find a job and a career that works for you, or you can decide that you are going whether there's career or not. So if it is mechanic that is available, you jump on that bandwagon, you get it, and you move on. Because even if you got on a job that says you have to be, I think I watched the video, it was IDEVA TV, I can't remember if I'm quoting this now, where you have to be with the employer for X amount of years because they paid for your visa or they sponsored you or whatever, that amount of years is going to run out very quickly. And I think it's still recollecting IDEVA TV's YouTube live, when the guy was talking about it and she was like, so how much does that cost? The guy said it's negligible because they brought you here, they helped you settle, you have a different life. He's the same healthcare worker you were back in Nigeria, in this part of the world, but you earn a different wage and you have a different socioeconomic situation. So I don't see why that would be a big deal. So I would say to people, don't limit yourself to, I want to be X. So if there's no job in X, that means God is not answering my prayer to move abroad. That's not necessarily it. Just open your mind out. I think I was asked this question recently as to how I chose HR as a career. And I said, I'm a microbiologist in my first degree. I dabbled into medicine for a little while. I didn't like it. It was very much family pressure. And then I dropped out and had a first degree in microbiology. And when I decided I was going to switch, I knew one thing I liked. I liked people. I liked interacting, but I didn't necessarily like people in a hospital environment. So what I tended to do was and I liked microbiology because microbiology was very vast. There was industrial, there was food, there was laboratory, there was so many parts of microbiology. And if you can't do anything with it, at least you can go and lecture. So I knew that somehow, the girl going to find a job. So I had a first degree in microbiology. But when I was trying to switch to the business side, I was like, what is the equivalent that will give me a footing so I can work in any industry? And I remember I was on holiday in Dubai and I was flipping through the brochure that a friend of mine at the time gave to me. She had already gotten this admission to my university now in Leicester. And she gave me the brochure and I was flipping through it and going through all of the criteria and different modules and courses. And HR just stood out to me. And I was like, human resources, which, involves managing people in the workplace. So there's always going to be people in every industry. That's how I put the two and two together. There was no pastor that said, there was no prayer, there was no counsel from anybody. That was just my basic logic. I'm sharing this to say, whatever your logic is, as long as it makes sense to you, you don't need to make sense to anybody else. And then the second part of that question, of that point is, now I hear a lot of people say, I don't have experience. I don't think that's true. I hear it a lot. A lot of you have transferable skills, which means that what you did in industry A can be transferred to industry B, and you'll be able to achieve the result expected in industry B. The problem is you've not been able to take the lingua of industry B, apply it to your experience in industry A, and just change your experience to that language so that you're sounding like them. I'll give you an example of what I mean. So I have a few mentees, and I have mentors. And I had a mentee who I met at a CIPD, so the HR professional body event. And when I met this mentee, this person had been out of work for 7 years because they were a mother. I'm very passionate about mothers going back to work. Like, I can't help myself. When I hear a mother struggling to get back to work, I'm like, no, that's not possible. You need to get back, because see, the fact that you gave birth to a child and they're still alive, you can do all things. So I was chatting to this person. They'd been out of work for 7 years, they've had 2 kids, and they were fretting because, like, to Esther's point earlier on, they were not getting any positive responses from employers because they did not have work experience for the last 7 years. And I thought to myself, but that's not true. So I said to this person, tell me what you've been doing for the last 7 years. She's had 2 kids or 3, I can't remember now. They've moved house, they've renovated the house, she's been running the home. And I said, so you've been project managing? And she's like, yes, because I made sure that the project was on time, the budget, everything. I'm liaising with every people. And I said, that's what people carry a big title project manager as. And she looked at me like I was speaking Greek. So I broke it down to her and I took her CV. Now, I don't like to do people's CV because there's a lot of work. I prefer to coach people to do their CV so that they can talk about that CV. Because if I do it for you, you will go and read it to the employer. But if I coach you to put that CV together, you'll be having a conversation and interview. My joy in career coaching or interview coaching is to get people to go and have conversations, not to go and answer questions, because that interview is a dating process. You can see I'm getting quite passionate. So let me calm down. Back to the story. So I brought her CV together and I talked her through. So I said, this is what a project manager needs. Pull everything out from what you've done in the last 7 years. And we were able to match it 85%. So I said, you have enough project management experience. If this was in the world of work, you have 7 years of project management experience, which is mid-management level. We should really be doffing a hat for you. And she was shocked. And I said, you moved house, you renovate house. And Victoria said, managing the house. Exactly. Bam. The fact that her husband or partner worked the whole time and the home was still intact. Do you know what it takes to run a home? The whole time and the home was still intact. Do you know what it takes to run a home? Well, I'm chatting to mostly women, so I'm preaching to the choir here, right? So that whole process, what are they going to eat? What they're doing when they're going to school, planning, holiday, this and all of that. All of those skills you can actually take into the world of work and you can do great with it. But there's this assumption that I don't have experience. Fast forward to the end result. Guess what, Liz? She matched herself a HR job. She's been doing it for like 4 or 5 years now.
Good on her.
And I said to her, you're starting this career now. Give yourself 18 months to embed and let's talk back when we're 2 years. When she was 3 years, she came to me, she was like, I need promotion. I said, girl, you deserve it.
Well done to her.
So I haven't caught up with her now to see what she's been up to, but I know she's progressing her career. Because when she went into those interviews, and interestingly, I was chatting to her a day before her interview and she got the job. I don't think if I coach anyone to get an interview and they actually do what I ask them to do, I don't think if the job is, unless the job is not right for them, in which case it's also a good thing that you say goodbye, because a job is a relationship. It's a marriage. You spend a lot of time in your home, the same way you spend a lot of time in your job. Now, our jobs and our homes have come together. So if the job is not going to work, please, can the relationship be going? Can the job be going already? Because if it's not going to work, it's like, you know, a relationship is not going to work. You're still going in there. Why are you doing that? It's the same reason for a job. And I know a lot of people will say to me, Vivian, don't say that because we need the money. Let me jump to another point now. You need the money, yes. Have you ever thought about the fact that you can actually you can take responsibility and ownership for how a job treats you and your mindset towards a job? And I'll tell you what I mean. If your mindset towards a job is, I need this job to live, see, the day your employer does, back you will go, Jesus. Because you are constantly in fear, you will not be able to chill and actually call the shots of what will work for you. Now, one of the ways that you'll be able to own your career is find a way to make sure you have enough to take you through 3 months if you were out of a job. It might take you 2 years to save it, but let that be purposeful. If I'm putting 20 pounds on the side every month because after all the bills, the money don't finish, it's okay. But let it take me 3 years to save that 3 months wage, because you will find that you are reacting differently. Oh, you will find that your mindset towards a job is totally different. So that if it's not working, you can say, actually, I'm really sorry. I love you, but I'm going to go because my mental health and my peace and the longevity of my life is more important to me. And you'll be all right. And you can resign and you can work your notice or not work your notice and you can go. I'm tired of this hearing because of the money. Money is a key factor, but actually, if you drill it down, remove all this soft life that Liz is seeing, that took me 15 years to build. I remember the first day I bought that Hermes slippers, I was like, so this slippers is only 400 pounds. And when people went on Instagram, I think it's 4,000. That's because I had arrived. No, I'm joking.
Only.
I'm joking. I just thought I'd throw that in there. But if you get to a point where you have put that on the side and you now have it, your approach to work will be different. You go in and you're not being treated right, or you feel like you deserve more, you'll be able to say you deserve more. But you won't be constantly going, the day the employer say, because see, we all get an employment contract that says job security. No job is secure. Businesses can drop like this. So if the business now drops, what's going to happen to you? So if you can think about it for me, for the purpose of this live today, if you can think about it this way, that what if this business packs up? Because this business might pack up one day, I'm going to save up how much I need. Because when I drill it down, I remove all the soft life, I only need X amount, which will usually be smaller than what you need to live. If you save that for 3 months, now I use 3 months because that's what I do in my head. I'm like, okay, if I save 3 months to be able to do what I need from a job perspective, it wouldn't necessarily take me 3 months to get a job. I don't think so. I think it will probably take you a couple of weeks, because when you know the job is about to go, you start applying, right? When you start applying, you start interviewing. By the time they get the contract, maybe less than that. Even if it takes you 3 months, you already have money. And if you're in month 1 into your savings and you know that you might not be able to get a job by month 2 and 3, you start to find contingencies. Can I please ask us to stop living off this paycheck to paycheck life? Instagram is not real. So if you are still living off paycheck because you're adding soft life, meanwhile you can be saving to give yourself peace of mind. Imagine when the pandemic happened and people were furloughed. Was that because they were not capable? Absolutely not. It was purely because of the economic situation. Okay, I know I get very passionate when I start talking about jobs and career. So I'm going to pause and I'm just going to look in the comments if there's any more questions, and then we can round up, because I said this is going to be for an hour and I think I've talked my head out. So, so if you have something to add to what I just shared about job and career, maybe from your own experience as well, Liz, by all means, please jump in.
No, I don't. I agree with what you're saying. And one thing I would say is, if you're doing something and it's not working, find you a career coach, a coach. And I haven't shared this with you, Vivian, but we had our session, and today I'm going to bring the testimony for that session. So guys, you guys don't know, Vivian does all of that, and she's a great coach. I went to see Vivian. I was just in a limbo. Obviously, there are 2 things I love to do: immigration law and my business analysis job that I'm doing, the IT business analyst job I'm doing. And I was at a crossroads, and I was like, Vivian, what can I do? I sat down, I spoke to Vivian. She said to me, but Liz, why can't you do both? What's stopping you? I just listened to her, like the way she's poured out her passion here for us. And see, today, I got a job. Yes, I got a job, literally went for an interview, and I could relate to, I felt like I was hearing this again, sitting with you. You didn't even have to say it. And then I got a job. I got a really good job with a very good company, and I'm starting soon.
I'm trying not to cry on a live
Guess what?
TV.
Guess what? I'm doing my immigration licensing by the end of the month. So I'm doing both.
I just do a oh my see guys, if you're stuck, get a coach. I'm not advertising my service.
Get
Liz did all of this.
2 weeks.
She puts the work. She found her. Oh my goodness.
I got a job. And let me tell you the interesting thing, it's the confidence that you get. Because I've been on maternity, and, sometimes you just feel like, oh, you've been out of the game, going back and stuff. I renegotiated my pay. I said to them, no, I'm not taking it. You need to pay me more. It was just the confidence for me, for them to come back and say to me, oh, you don't have to go for a second interview. This is it. Like, this is what we want. I said, thank you very much. And when you said the thing about relationship, I felt it within. That was what, because I had an interview before for a job that I thought was perfect. Because there was this job I applied for, and they were looking for an immigration business analyst. So guess how perfect that job role was?
Oh my goodness. Immigration business
analyst. That's what
those were the two things. Those were the two parts we talked about during our coaching session.
So this is a job that I really wanted. I went for that interview, and then the next day I went for this one that it's a business analyst role. But guess what? You see sometimes you get a coach. I'm telling you, I got a business analyst job in a law firm.
Stop.
Get a coach. With career and trying to figure out what to do. And see, I would tell you, if you want to leave Nigeria, you want to come into the UK, just come in at the lowest threshold possible. It will only take you 5 years. You would think 5 years of your time is wasted. No, it's not wasted. You've gathered that 5 years to get your indefinite leave to remain, and you are off and you're starting to do what you want to do. Bear in mind, you can do any side hustle you want to do at this point in time. You can do it. You can do it. All you need to do is get in the country with a job. Bear in mind, if you have kids, you can come with your kids. You can come with your partner, and then your partner can have any job they decide to do. They don't have to do anything in healthcare. As long as they're here with you, your partner can do any job they want to do.
Which means if your healthcare job is not paying and your partner already has a career, your partner can be the earner.
Yes.
Whilst you give you guys the visa to come in.
Yeah, so that's how it works. You have a family, you can bring your whole family. Obviously, in the beginning, it's a lot of money to get everyone together to come. So that's why people don't like bringing somebody starts and then but it's possible.
Liz, see, I don't know.
No, honestly. And then I will share one thing again. If you apply for a job and you want to come into the country and you think, oh, you don't have enough, where are you going to stay? What are you going to eat? That kind of thing. Most companies pay for your first month's, care.
True.
So, yeah, you can have accommodation for your first month, and then they can give you some allowance and stuff like that. All of it is being paid for. And then after the month, you can gather yourself to move to your own place. So don't feel scared to say, I can't do this, or I don't have enough, I've not saved up enough. You've got some companies who will give you this just so you can come and work for them. So take every opportunity you can to relocate. If you have to reskill, do it. Do it. Right now, If you want to do IT, help yourself. If you want to do healthcare, help yourself.
Wow. Liz, you know what you just reconfirmed? So I'm a firm believer that anything is possible, especially anything you put your mind to. And I had of course, I'm a coach, I'm a trained coach, and I'm blessed to have a cohort of coaches, right? And I'm blessed to have a cohort of coaches, and not just that we train together, we meet quite regularly. And that helps me keep sane, get encouraged, ask questions. It's a good network to have. And of course, I have a full-time job. I'm also the founder of Incredible Everyday Woman. I love my Vima YouTube channel, and I'm building a coaching business because I'm an in-house coach and I have private clients. And all of my clients always give me beautiful testimonials and reviews. And interestingly, I've been chatting to someone trying to build my website for my coaching practice, right? And I was chatting to my group of coaches this morning, and I turned up and they said, Vivian, how are you feeling? This morning, I was waiting for my walk. There was no wig, so I had my cornrow. No, I had a hat. After my walk, I had my cornrow out. And I looked at them and I said to them, I feel like a failure. And they looked at me and they were like, failure and you, don't stay in the same sentence. Say something else. And because it's a space where I'm able to go and say, I'm supposed to be writing my coaching essays, I haven't gotten to it, I need to be done by August, I have all these lives and all these hats going on. And they shared their perspectives with me as well. And then we started talking about why I am passionate about coaching women back into work. I can't explain it. I just feel the fact that you can be a mother and a wife on top of it and run a home, you can do any job. Women are so powerful. I mean, this morning, I'm so excited. My earring has fallen off. I woke up this morning, right? And the word that came to my mind was, people say because you're single, you don't have kids, you have time. And I looked myself in the mirror. I said, have you met me? Time. Have you met me?
Where's the time, please?
I was just like, that's a very vague assumption, and it's not necessarily true. Anyway, so I started talking about why I'm passionate about women. And I remember, Liz, when I reached out to you, right? And I was like, I think you might use some coaching. And Liz was like, yes, I think I need coaching. And I was like, tell me.
I jumped on it quickly.
Tell me why. And then we had a private coaching session. And this was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks. And I was meant to give you the review, but after I came out, I did my work. I started applying for a role. So
you went straight into action. That's what coaching does for you.
I'm not going to do this review just yet. I was going to give myself 1 month and see what happens, so I can give like a good review.
A rounded review.
Yeah. And it's only 2 weeks. So today I was sitting there, I'm like, this review is going to be long. As in long. Very long.
Oh my God. No, Liz, there's no better review than what you've just done on a live TV, unsolicited. I didn't know this was coming in 2 weeks.
We were busy trying to figure this live out. You know what? Let me not say anything to her just yet.
Remember when we catch up on Tuesday, you were like, how are you? I'm like, I'm tired. And I didn't even know you had this.
Yeah, on that Tuesday, I knew. And I'm like, oh, no, let me not tell. Just
wow.
Yeah.
We had a coaching session in 2 weeks later, you become a BA in an immigration law
firm. It's not even, and that's the thing. It's not even an immigration law firm. And guess what? And this thing that you're saying, relationship with what? It's a law firm that back in the day when I was in law school and I was looking for a training contract, was on top of my list.
Mm-hmm.
Really wanted to work for this law firm. I applied for a training contract. It was no. Never. And now look, I'm back here as a business analyst for that same law firm that I've always wanted to work for.
Oh my God. Okay, let me say this. Oh my God. It's interesting you say this. I always say to people, when you go into a job, and this is how I coach people for interview, it's a relationship and it's two ways. I know you're going to pay me salary, but I have a skill.
Yeah.
And I've appreciated this even more now as the founder of Incredible Everyday Woman, having to hire a team, because it's not about whether they're going to volunteer for me or whether we're going to pay them. It's more also them giving me their time, their blood, sweat, and tears, their skills, and all of those things. And the moment I started going to interviews with this mindset, Liz, it was different. I can't explain it. It was very different. And I'll tell you why. I remember once I was coming out of a job. No, I had not left that particular job, but I'd already started interviewing. And halfway through this particular interview, I nearly stood up and said, Madam, could it work? But out of courtesy, I waited for her to finish and I said, this job is not for me. And that's only because, again, like I said, what do you need in case, what's your run rate in case you don't have a job? 3 months, right? If you can save that, if it's 6 months, take 2 years to save that and never spend it. In fact, the money should not be in your account. It should be in somebody else's account. So I then said to her, I don't think this job is for me. That's purely because I had been through jobs in my lifetime career till date. In HR, I've worked in 7 companies or 8. I can't remember now. So I know that when it comes to my profession, HR, the job title can be X and the job description can be Y, and the actual job can be in numerical order. It can be distant. So I got to a point and I was like, I know this, and this is my strength. I want a job that plays to my strength. The reason I accepted the current company that I work for, which I've been working for 4 years now, I nearly said 10. Okay, amen to that, because I think I'm retiring here. Shout out to my employer. The reason I said that, and the reason I accepted it was because I had 3 or 4 interviews. I can't remember that. But my boss today interviewed me, and I'm still working with him 4 years later. And he gave me problem statements. And I said, you are playing to my strength. Because my strength is strategy. My strength is big picture thinking. I am dyslexic, so I know where I play to. And I've crossed 10 years doing the same thing. So surely I know what I'm doing. When I sat in jobs where they were telling me the job description is this, you have to be this, you have to, in my head, I'm like, you guys are reading a script. Tell me what I'm going to be doing. So when I even coach people for jobs, I say to them, ask them in your interview, how are you going to judge my performance at 60 and 90 days? How are you going to do? I'm doing it well. You don't go into a job at this point after you have met me. Let me say this to all of you now. You don't go into a job after you've met me and you're worrying about probation. Please, you're insulting my friendship and relationship with you. You should not be worrying about probation, because at the interview, you should understand, how are you going to rate me at 30, 60, and 90 days? 1 month, 2 months, and 3 months. Probation is 6 months. So by 3 months, you think they are going to rate you by X. You walked away from the interview, you know that that's not going to work. And you go and be praying that God should give you the job. Stop it. Stop it. Your live stream has ended on IG. Yeah, that's because I ended the live stream on IG a long time ago. Yeah. So you shouldn't nobody should be telling you about probation, because you already know when you've asked them, what do I need to do to be successful in this place? Don't be going to the interview and you're just so mesmerized by the building. See, it go tire you. It's like a new love. After 3 months, the girl becomes every other girl. The guy becomes every other girl. Don't be fascinated by, oh my God, did you see the office building? Don't worry. Give yourself 5 years. That office building become normal to you. And it's only a building. And now all of us are in our home. So now it's a laptop you have.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to round up now. I've just gone straight into career and my brain is just got over motivated, but I've had a full day of work and I need to chill. So let me just read the comments. Wow, seriously, people that are not here today, they have missed. Well, Victoria says sweet 16. Yay, Liz, they say we're shining like sweet 16. Victoria said, congratulations, Liz.
Oh, thank you, Victoria.
Boma says, thank you for the motivation, V. My pleasure. I live to inspire people. And not those wishy-washy inspiration where I'll put you in a bubble. No, we have to be real at the same time. Martha said, love this live discussion. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Go through this beauty. Says, far from it. You've grown so much as a person. Oh, thank you. Anastasia, hello, hello, hello. Boma said, I've been down trying to study with kids. I never knew it would be this stressful. I didn't even know how I have done it this far. Women are really strong.
Oh, you don't understand the strength of a woman.
I just want to drink to that because I'm not a mother yet, but I'm close enough to mothers, whether that's from my family and my friends and women. I doff my hat to you. So I'm going to round up this live and ask you, Liz, any final words, whether that's to a woman, whether that's someone relocating. My sister has adjusted her chair. Genge, you are in trouble.
No, I just wanted to say, look, the UK is one of the easiest places you can actually relocate to if you know which route to go to. Right now, the floodgates are open in highly skilled and health and care work. And this scale-up visa is also coming up.
Yeah.
All I would say, please, if you really want to relocate, train. Find something else that even if you don't love, try and do it. Let me tell you a story. I'm from a legal background through and through. I did an MBA and I studied oil and gas. My MBA. This business analysis thing with IT, I don't even know what they mean by all these software things. I don't know. It's my husband that did this work and said to me, my dear, if you want to move on, you better join the train. This is how I started learning. I've grown to fall in love with it to the point that now I don't even want to leave it. So before I started, whenever he talks to me, I'll just say, Oga, too much noise in my ear. I don't want. But once I got the job, I started working. I learned on the job. I learned a lot of things on the job, and it got interesting by the day. Retrain. You will find that you love that thing that you retrained to do.
Yeah.
Get yourself, and bear in mind, this world is moving forward. Everything is about tech. If you want to do anything, please, this is the time to try and get into it. I'll even advise that you get your children into it now. Get your children, because it's not going to change. Soon there are a lot of jobs that are going to fall off. If you don't have a I'm sorry. If you don't have a healthcare background, I'm sorry. We're always going to need doctors and nurses, even though they are robots, trying to
do that.
But we
I agree.
Physical, doctors and nurses, the dentists, everyone will need them. Retrain. That's what I would say. Retrain and see. Come to the country. Come relaxed. Do what you have to do. Forget. It's hard in the beginning. We all suffered. Me, I came from Ghana to this country. I came here as a student. I've worked my way up to here. It was hard. It was very hard though. Coming here by myself as a teenager, no parents, no one. I had to navigate through all of these things by myself. I didn't even have, there was no live to go and listen to help you.
There was nobody you could relate to. That you can just say, let me borrow your Maggie to cook my soup because I think you're already doing what I want to do.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm so passionate about immigration and everything about, immigrating into the UK is because of my own experiences. When I came into this country, there was a time I had to sleep outside because I didn't have a guarantor to sign for me to go into a house.
Wow.
So there's so many things around these things that make me passionate. Well, how can I help somebody who came here and needs, a guarantor to sign for a house that they want to get? How can I help a student who's in limbo at the moment and don't know where to go? How can I help, somebody who came here to work but is now bringing their children in? There's so many ways to, even churches are bringing people into this country. There's a tier 5 visa for religious workers. to come here and stay here for 3 years and come and preach. It's there. There's so many other ways that you could come into the country as long as you know what you want to do. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of time.
Yeah.
You come
I
here
agree.
as a worker, you have 5 years to get an indefinite leave to remain. You suck it up for 5 years.
Yeah.
So please, if there's anyone out there who wants to relocate, just gather yourself together, find out which route will be best for you, find out your options. If you need to get an immigration advisor to help you do it, do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Soon enough, you'll be like Boma, you'll be here with us enjoying.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, thank you so much.
And I would say to you, it's not only London, anywhere.
Yeah.
Scotland,
Yeah.
Wales, Midlands, wherever you
Yes.
want to go.
Yeah.
Very open-minded, especially the care and health and care visa. People want to come here because they'll be throwing you. There's a friend of mine that went to in fact, that was the only place in this UK I saw Danfo with my eye. If I said Danfo, the one that they hate, they'll say, oh, yeah, this place is in the. I opened my mouth. I was like, eh? So there are places like this in this UK. That's where
Wow.
when she got her visa to come here, that's where they took her to work. There are 10 human beings to 50 sheep in that village where she was. But that's where she went to work. And she stayed there for her 3 years and now she's moved to Bristol. And found a hospital to work, retraining, doing all sorts. So please be very open-minded. Try and get here if you really want to. And then from there you work your way up.
I wouldn't come here to tell you that when you move to the UK, life is going to be better. You're going to be soft, like my dear. This is 15 years in the making. 15, count it, 15. Picky with them born for 15 years is almost an adult in UK language. So
Yeah.
don't wake up and just be, when I move, I'm going to be, no, don't work like that. Okay. Be realistic is my final words. Be very realistic. You have to put the work in. You have to put the work in because along the journey, you're going to learn a lot about yourself, about life, about industries, about people, and you're going to be able to pick what works for you. And that's going to work to your advantage because now I know what works for me. Yeah. I know exactly where I want to be. I want to be media and tech, and that's where I am. But I didn't, if you had asked me media and tech 16 years ago, what is media, what is tech? I don't know what you're talking about, but I've been in banking, I've been in publishing, I've been in outsourcing, I've been in all sorts of industries. I've been in telecom, I've been everywhere. And then when I got to tech, I'm like, I like these people because of X, Y, and Z. So I would say to you, you've got to put the work in. So no false expectations here. You can move to the UK. Liz has told you everything. There's so many ways. Have an open mind, retrain if you must. Healthcare is open. The upskill visa is coming. There's all these ways for you to retrain and move to the UK. But when you move in, give yourself time. Give yourself time, build your network. YouTube is there.
Yeah.
And of course, send me a DM if you have more questions, and we may do another live because I've totally enjoyed this one.
Yes, I have enjoyed this one. It was a good one.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Oh my God, there's still 11 people watching. We started with 2, now there's 11. Okay. Some people are saying this is the best life ever. I'm so up for retraining. Yeah, people are sharing IG handle. I've shared your IG handle in the chat, so they're going to reach out to you. I think Esther's going to reach out to you, Liz, with regards to that employer that you mentioned. Yeah. And if anyone else is interested, by all means, chat to Liz. And I need you to do me a favor. Go on your Instagram story and just do a story tagging Liz and Matt and I, just sharing about your experience of this live session.
Yes, please.
Please go on your Instagram story and share your experience of the live session and tag Liz and myself, just as a way of sharing the feedback of what you've learned today. Just one thing that's a takeaway from you, for you, and everything that you've learned. So thank you all so much. Thank you. This has been very productive and a good use of our time. So I'm glad that we came on with all the wahala we took to get here.
Yes. I'm happy to be here. It's a pleasure being here and speaking today. This time it's alive. I wasn't behind the screen and typing. So it's amazing. And I'm glad people got to learn from it. I mean, there's so much more. If you want to hear anything, just send me a DM. I'll
Yeah.
try and research some more and then share as and when the
At
question.
least now we know how to do a live. So if you guys ask enough questions, we might do another live. Now we know.
Now we know.
We know.
Now we know.
We are now experts of life.
Yeah.
Let's not add the fact that the expert behind all of this is Lizzie's husband. Let's just give him a shout out.
Shout out.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, God.
All right, people, have a good one.